This house was built in 1929 and the homeowners decided to do some renovations. First place he started here in the master bedroom, lifted up the old carpeting, and look what he found, this nice wood floor. But it does need refinishing. This is a project a lot of folks like to do on their own, but if you make a critical mistake, it could ruin the floor. I have an expert here today, Cy Kersey's from Cherry Hill.
Morning, Glenn.
Thanks for joining me. You started the project on this side of the room already, Cy.
Yes, we've stripped the old varnish off and leveled the floor. We're ready for the finer grit papers and new coat of stain.
Now, when you do strip the floor, I know the first tool you need is the drum sander over here. This could really cause some serious problems if you don't use it correctly.
Yes, it takes a lot of user skill. They're very aggressive. I'll demonstrate here.
And I do want to note, first off, that folks, you want to go with the grain of the floor when you use this drum sander.
Yes, with this machine you have to go with the grain. You never go cross grain.
Right, because that would ruin the wood. We use this piece of plywood to demonstrate some of the common mistakes you can make if you do this project yourself. The first one I noticed, of course, is this big divot we took out of the plywood.
Yes, I hesitated too long in one spot, and I went across the grain when I should have been going with the grain.
Right, so you went this way across the grain, but you're right, exactly. We should have gone this way with the grain. Have you ever seen anybody make a mistake like this on their own, like, floor?
Yes, and as a result, you have to cut out pieces of the floor and replace them with new wood.
We're going to use this tool today to get the job done, developed by Cherry Hill.
Yes, this is the U-Sand floor sander. It uses 4 random orbit heads with a 6-inch diameter sanding disc.
Okay, and the sand disc goes right there.
Yes.
And when you talk about random orbit, that means we don't have to worry about going with the grain.
Right, yeah, you pay no attention to which way the grain's going on the floor.
That worked really nice, right up against the baseboard.
Yes, it gets close enough that the quarter-round molding will cover what the sander doesn't reach.
Okay, we're going to finish up our sanding, and then we'll start the staining. We're going to start our staining side right here in the closet.
Yes, it's a good area to start. That you don't want to start in the middle of a room.
Exactly. If you make a mistake here, it won't be as drastic as, in fact, if you made a mistake in the master bedroom.
Right.
Okay, we've prepped the area by getting rid of all the sawdust with a vacuum, and we use some mineral spirits to wipe it on down, so we're ready to go.
You want to continually keep going back over what you've done to regulate the color.
Now it's important, again, getting back to the manufacturer's instructions, to wipe it off at a certain point. In this case, they say for us to wait 15 minutes and then wipe it off, but the type of stain you use will dictate how long you let it sit.
Right.
It's day 2 of our project. We have our stain down, our polyurethane, at least our first coat. You'd think we were done, but we're not.
Right. At this point, we have to lightly scuff the floor with these nylon scuff pads.
Boy, that's like something you'd clean pots with in your kitchen.
Right, and they do a good job, and you have to move quick.
Why do you have to move quickly?
You don't want to take too much of the polyurethane off.
Okay. Prepping our floor for our second coat of polyurethane, we used a vacuum.
Yes, and then we wipe the floor with mineral spirits again, and then we use a tack cloth to pick up any remaining dirt.
Yep, and it gets all the dust up, it gets everything up. Yes. Notice along the baseboards there, we have some holes from the old carpeting.
Yes, those will be filled with a wood filler after the polyurethane.
We're all prepped now, putting down our second coat of varnish. We have Roger helping out here. Now, Cy, what are a few tips we can share?
Always read the manufacturer's instructions, and as you're varnishing, end up going with the grain for the final pass.
Now, usually you would put 2 or 3 coats of varnish on. What would that be?
Most people put 2, but we put 3 coats of varnish on.
Cy Kersey, thanks for all your help.
Thank you, Glenn.